Let's go over this article where somebody says something that sounds a lot like things that I've been saying and like-minded folk to me have been saying for quite a while now. Why there will never be a female James Bond. He can be of any color, but he is male, Barbara Broccoli said. Alright, sounds interesting. Don't hold your breath for a gender-swap James Bond ever. For years, some fans of the classic British spy franchise have been asking for a female 007 to no avail. Now the overseer of the Bond franchise is putting her foot down on the idea completely, nixing the hope that Bond's future is female. And by the way, it is kind of interesting that a woman is saying this, so they can't call some man sexist about it. Very nice. He can be of any color, but he is male, said Barbara Broccoli, the long-term producer and overseer of the Bond franchise, in an interview with Variety. She was discussing future iterations of the franchise after Daniel Craig, who has played the suave spy since 2006's Casino Royale, hangs up his hat. It's been that long? Damn. I believe we should be creating new characters for women, strong female characters. Thank you. Who's been saying that? I have. So have a lot of like-minded people to myself, and that's the fact. Broccoli continued, explaining her reasoning. I am not particularly interested in taking a male character and having a woman play it. I think women are far more interesting than that. Like people like myself have been saying, when you take a woman and you give her a role that was traditionally a man to, maybe get more attention, get her in the spotlight faster, it doesn't work so well. It's actually more insulting to her. Like Batwoman, hint, hint. Well, not the real Batwoman, but the way it happened with Ruby Rose. Her remarks echo previous comments by Oscar-winning actor Rochelle Weitz, who happened to be married to Craig. Why not create your own story rather than jumping onto the shoulders and being compared to all those other male predecessors, she said in a 2018 interview. Women are really fascinating and interesting and should get their own stories. Yeah, and obviously I couldn't agree more. I say the same thing about all swaps. Whatever the swap is, I just like original characters that have been original characters for decades to stay the same, for better or for worse, whatever they are. Let's say Uhura from Star Trek became some Irish guy with a beard. I'd be like, that's ridiculous. Let's say Lando Calrissian became some Chinese guy. I'd be like, that's ridiculous. Whoever it is should just stay that original concept, because the race does not make the person, but it's part of somebody's character, and you should be proud of that in some cases. It's not like something to be ashamed of, like, oh, well, I'm this race, so maybe we should change that to this other race. No, just whatever it is. Let's be proud of who we are and move on and respect the past, basically. That's all I'm saying, and I think Broccoli, who is the overseer of Bond, agrees with me. Seems like she's right on the same page as I am. You could even say she's a little bit Phantom Menace in her. Phantom Menace is kind of a confusing term for some people. Some people don't get it. Some people think it's like a group of particular YouTubers. It's not. It's just a state of mind. Alright? So this woman is definitely Phantom Menace, you could say. Yeah, that was kind of random. Just saying. Here's Barbara Broccoli right here, and yeah, she's the gatekeeper of the franchise of James Bond, basically. And here is a nice long history, which I'm not going to read the whole thing because that would make this a 20-minute video. It gets into details about her ownership, how she took ownership of the franchise, things like that. It kind of feels almost like the Tolkiens to me, where they actually have some kind of pride and they don't want the franchise changed just for the political feeling in the air that some people want it to be changed to. They also don't want to back down because in the long run, I think time will tell, it would be better to keep these things the way they were. Keep the tradition. Keep them as they were invented by the creator. They also give some details about Daniel Craig and how the job is physically stressful for him and he's kind of ready to move on from the role. And you know what? James Bond has been played by so many people. It's not Craig. He's not like the face of James Bond. I don't even think he works so well. He's okay as James Bond. For better or for worse, we're the custodians of this character. We take that responsibility seriously. Exactly. Another great phrase. Because when some people became custodians of the Star Wars characters, they didn't take it too seriously. They just wanted to put their own messages and throw some, curveballs out and try to shock people. Didn't work so well. But when you take things seriously, then you're probably going to have a better franchise and stories on your hand. Now, slightly off topic again, but Lord of the Rings is coming out, and the Tolkiens are very protective, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that franchise. Goes on to say here that she grew up immersed in the world of Bond, pretty much meaning she's a fan. You know, you don't be immersed in something and not be a true fan or a real fan. I don't like the word true fan, but you guys know what I mean. Someone who's emotionally attached, basically, I think is the right definition for a true fan. Bond was such a vivid part of the family's life that a young Broccoli became confused. I thought James Bond was a real person until I was 7 or 8, she said. Exactly. And that's how Luke Skywalker felt to a lot of us. That's how fictional characters should feel. And when you feel something is like a real person, you don't gender swap that. And you don't racial swap that. It feels like a real person. You know? You wouldn't want like someone in your family or a friend or something to just be swapped out. Just because? Doesn't make sense. That's a point that I think a lot of people miss, is that to some people these characters aren't just like political vessels to prove a point about what's going on now. They're actually emotional attachments that feel real to people. That's the thing with Luke, is it feels like you could just meet Luke and like you know him already, or Leia, or Han, or even like 3PO or something, one of those characters, or even like Sam from Lord of the Rings. It feels like you could like meet him. If you met Poe, he'd just be like, I'm Poe Dameron. I'm the best starfighter pilot. Alright, let's try again. I'm Poe Dameron. I'm the best starfighter pilot in the galaxy. Yeah, starting that one up. That's okay. It's late. It's like midnight here. Or, you know, you meet Rey. I'm Rey. No one scares me except myself. I'm from Jakku. Okay. Nice to meet you, Rey. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think down below. Got a little bit off topic in circles here. But my main point was that, you know, it's best to keep these characters the way they are, and apparently the overseers of the James Bond franchise agree with that. I'm doing shout-outs, special thanks, special shout-out right now. This book, sent to me by Adega Outlaw, thank you very much. It's like 120 pages. I will read it at some point. It's sci-fi, it looks really cool, and it's part of my background now. Anyway, if you're not subscribed, click that subscribe button, smash it, press it. I'm doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. I screw up the other videos, and no one complains. Not yet. Always screw up. No complaints. Real cool. Thank you. Peace out.